Welcome to the Soulcery Podcast, your sacred space to delve into spiritual tools, topics, and practices that will illuminate your path of soul remembering and healing. I'm your host, Lígia Costa, a soul guide, alchemist, soul writing coach, and the creator of the Trust Pathway. I'm deeply grateful to have you here with me. Together, we will embark on a profound exploration of self-discovery and healing, unlocking the secrets that lie within. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of the Soulcery Podcast. I'm your host, Lígia Costa, and today I want to have a conversation around the connection between spirituality and mental health. So before we get started, grab a cozy blanket, maybe a cup of tea, and let's dive in. Spirituality and religion are two profound aspects that resonate through the threads of our lives. As a self-healing guide, I come across individuals that seek to reconnect with their inner selves in order to heal past wounds and to find that profound sense of meaning in their lives, that profound sense of purpose. And it's so heartening to witness this increasing recognition of spirituality within the healthcare. For instance, in the UK, national surveys and even insights from the NHS Trust confirm that many service users, many NHS patients desire this consideration of spirituality within their care and recognizing its pivotal role in the recovery model. And if you don't know what a recovery model is, within the NHS mental health system, the recovery of patients is often referred as to the recovery model. And this model highlights the importance of building resilience in people with mental health. And it's about a person-centered care. It's an individual care where the system acknowledges the mind, body, and spirit relationship and the influence of that balance through the recovery of mental health. And it's this holistic approach that nurtures that physical, mental, and social and spiritual well-being and creates this, I would say, symphony of wellness in our lives. So the intertwining of spirituality and mental health has been a subject of profound research over the years. From the stress buffering function of spirituality to the positive impact it has on the mental, physical, and social health outcomes, the evidence through all these researchers and all these studies has been really compelling. But that doesn't mean that this recognition of the importance of the spiritual beliefs within the recovery of mental health has always been harmonious. There are struggles, there are conflicts, and there is even the risk of that double stigma for those embracing both spirituality and mental health diagnoses. It is a delicate balance, but it's very positive to see how, for instance, meditation for anxiety has been proved to be very helpful, as well as this longing to search for a profound sense of purpose helps to battle the depths of depression. So spirituality is becoming a very valuable ally in the realm of mental health. Now, spirituality is a personal journey. It's a personal quest for meaning, for purpose, for self-discovery, and for connection. It is this beautiful, diverse tapestry that people weave to understand their existence and is not confined to rules that are set in stone. It's a very personal journey, and each individual has the freedom to personally connect on a deeper level towards what resonates the most and towards this unique journey of self-healing. And it's just not about religious beliefs. When I talk about spirituality, it's about this very, very deep connection between ourselves and the divine and our soul. Is not just about religious belief, because one is not dependent on the other. It's about this connection to something greater than ourselves, and about this sense of inner peace that draw from faith or from belief. And also, spirituality is a journey, not a destination. And its beauty lies in this evolution, in this growth, this evolving of ourselves. And as we grow, our spiritual needs transform, much like the seasons of our lives, much like the cycles of nature. As we evolve, things change on a deeper level. And that is good. That is what spiritual evolution is about. Now, an interesting fact that I've learned throughout this research for this podcast that I would like to share with you, it's about the biological clock for spiritual well-being. And I found this very, very interesting. That's why I wanted to share. So basically, between the age of 18 to 25, there is a spiritual biological clock that starts ticking. The same way we get to an age that normally our biological clock for motherhood starts ticking, we also have that in regards to our spirituality. And it's like a spiritual awakening. We start to get this surge to seek life's greatest truths. And the science of spirituality describes this as a foundational role that fosters adult whole person development. So it's when, as adults, we start to awaken to the fact that life is so much more than just us. Because as children and as teenagers, the way we see the world is very self-centered. And that is the natural process, especially in the teenage years. And probably if you think back a time that you were a teenager, or if you are a parent of teenagers, I certainly am, you will see these traits in them where basically everything that happens is like it's against them. They are the only ones that know what is right, what is wrong. If you give an opinion or advice, they take it as an offense and that you don't understand them. And only their needs and their emotions, although very clouded, because sometimes they don't know how to articulate how they feel. They don't even know how they feel and what they are feeling because hormone changes and all of that. So yeah, it's a very self-centered approach, but when you get more or less to the age of 18 to 25, and this may vary, we know that gender has an impact on this in terms of normally girls develop emotionally and mentally earlier than boys. And there are studies around this. It's not me coming up with this, but normally around this age is when, as adults, we start seeing the world beyond ourselves. And we start to develop a lot of compassion, a lot of interest in the people around us. is mostly the age where we become independent, so finding jobs and going to uni and finding a partner. And so we start to think beyond ourselves and beyond our needs and beyond our emotions. And also is when we are impacted by adversity. And what I mean by adversity is emotional crisis. It's grief. It's changes in our life that will contribute to cultivating resilience and growth on an emotional and spiritual level. And so throughout these adversities, it becomes an invitation for spiritual growth, where grief, loss, where crisis become undeniable elements of the human experience. And this leads to what psychologists term as post-traumatic growth. And it's not an easy journey, but cultivating a spiritual identity fortifies the spiritual brain, if you can call it like that. Meaning, it fortifies our resilience, our understanding of life, and understanding of how things pan out. And so, it helps with our well-being. And speaking of growth, spirituality also contributes to a higher sense of purpose, a sense of peace, a sense of hope, a sense of meaning. And so it instills confidence and self-esteem and self-control that are necessary to build up that resilience on an emotional and spiritual level and help us make sense of our life's experiences, especially during traumatic events and loss. Now, how is this related to mental health? I see it that when we go through these periods of crisis and we get acquaintance with life storms, I believe that we are able to transform that grief and that pain into growth. And those are beautiful gifts. When we are able to work through and move through the contractions of life, the challenges, the crises, the immense pain, and come out on the other side with a new understanding, with a new strength, with a new maturity, this can be seen, and to me, they are seen as spiritual gifts. And these spiritual gifts can be used to help us heal from mental health. And I speak from experience. I'm not having this conversation without any knowledge or experience around this. As a survivor of childhood abuse, my mental health has been always affected. Only after I had my second baby, it was diagnosed, but all the symptoms were there. So chronic anxiety has been with me since I was young, and then it kind of evolved to postnatal depression after I had my second baby, and that was back in 2009. What I know to be truth is that once I started to explore the meaning of life and to explore my own self-development and work on it, I started to be able to cope with my mental health in a different way. I can't say I'm out of the woods. I'm not. I still have chronic anxiety, and I kind of have a setback after I lost my dad 2 years ago. But I'm no longer the person I was when I was 23 and I just had a baby and I was a mess. I felt so lost. I felt so guilty and such a rubbish human being and a rubbish mother. And I took medication to really numb all those feelings, and it did. It did numb my whole life. And at some point I was not living anymore. I was just surviving. I was like a zombie, just basically doing things in autopilot, and I couldn't even cry. Even though I was so deeply sad, I couldn't cry. I didn't have the strength for it. And I can, from experience, say that from the moment I started to delve deep into my self-healing, and I saw therapy to help me with the postnatal depression, and then I start to get curious about my own self-development and my own self-healing and exploring spirituality, I can honestly say it's changed the way I start coping with my mental health. And for a long time, I was out of medication. I just went back after my dad passed away. But that's another level, it's another devil that I'm now dealing with, which is post-traumatic grief and a lot of trauma that came out from it. But I'm still functioning. I'm not the way I was, where my mental health was stopping me from living. I still function. I still do all the things that are not stopping my day-to-day life. Yes, there are days that I need more rest than the others, but I'm running my business. I'm doing all of these things on my own, and I look after my children, and I do all the housewife/mother chores, and I socialize. And I created boundaries, and I'm evolving every single day and getting curious and heal every single day. And so to me, spirituality, and for me, spirituality and seeking this spiritual growth contributed for me to find my purpose, to find peace within the storm that I was in, to find hope. I didn't even think I could get better. At 23, I couldn't see a way out at all. I thought I will be like that for the rest of my life. I will never, in a million years, I've never imagined to be in this position where I'm now guiding other people in their self-healing journeys. I could never, ever imagine that. And so that sense of meaning, that sense of purpose, that sense of peace helped me so much to rebuild my confidence, to rebuild my self-esteem, and to develop my self-awareness, to have better relationships with my husband, with my children, with my family, with my friends. And it helped me so much to discern the things that were not serving me so I could let it go. And in this process of self-development and of, I wouldn't say becoming our most authentic selves. I don't believe we become anything. I believe we remember who we truly are in our authentic selves, in our authenticity at the soul level. That's why I believe that we remember who we truly are. So in this process of remembering who we truly are and in this process of self-development, we are able to feel so much more connected, not just with ourselves, but to the greater whole. And what this does is it offers us a perspective of the challenges that we go through and the problems that we go through, where we don't see them as failure and I don't see them as stones in the road, but we see them as ways of growth, as lessons, as opportunities for growth. So in my humble opinion and from my own life experience, developing an openness to discovering, getting curious, and exploring spirituality in its very true sense of what spirituality is, which is to find a deeper connection with your soul and with the world around you and finding the meaning and the purpose of your life will help you to overcome mental health. I'm not saying it will cure you. I can't make statements like this, but will help you. It will ease the pain. It will allow you to grow as a person, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and will allow for you to have better relationships with you and others and a better peaceful environment. Because we know that mental health, especially depression and anxiety, has so much to do with how afraid we are of how other people perceive us. And a lot of the internal conflicts that we have stem from the conflicts we have with the relationships around us. I know that the root of my anxiety and the root of my postnatal depression was this internal battle that I had with this relationship with my mother. This deep fear of repeating the same mistakes my mom did. And I really was so scared to make my children suffer and to give them childhoods that would bring so much trauma to them. And so this inner battle that I was not voicing around the relationship between me and my mom, the relationship between me and my childhood, the relationship between me and other women, where I always found that I couldn't trust other women. It wasn't safe to trust other women because in reality, I wasn't safe around my mum. I wasn't safe around my sister, which were the women in my life. So it kind of created this fear around trusting women in general. But once I started to understand where the roots were for these beliefs and these wounds, and I started to voice and communicate these inner battles, and I started to get curious about all of this and try to work on my healing, it helped me so much to bring acceptance, to bring forgiveness, and to bring peace to all these interactions that I was having inside me and outside of me with the relationships with the people around me. So if you are struggling with mental health, I want to send you all my love and all my compassion. I know it's hard and it's valid. What you're feeling at the moment, it's so valid. I want you to know that I hear you and I see you and I'm here for you. But please trust it's not the end. Please trust that it will get better. Please trust that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Please trust that healing is possible and that you can do it. I know it might seem that at the moment you have no way out, that you can't see a way out of this, that life is too dark, too complicated, too difficult, too hard, too sad, too overwhelming, and that you have no one to rely on, and that you are on your own, and that you are such a mess, and you feel like you're not enough, and that you're not worthy of getting better, not worthy of love, not worthy of being happy. But please, 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 please trust that it is possible. Please trust that it will get better. It's just a cycle. It's not the end. It's not the destination. Things will get better. One day you will look back and you'll see how much you've grown. One day you'll look back and you'll cry happy tears, grateful tears that you didn't give up, that you broke the cycle for your children, that you healed yourself. So now you can help other people. You can't see it now, but it will happen. It will happen. Please, please don't lose faith. Before I love you and leave you, I will pull a card from the Trust Journaling deck. And the card that came up is from the Unravel suite. And the soul inquiry is, what is in my heart's true desire? Am I living it with my current reality? What is in my heart's true desire? Am I living it in my current reality? And the affirmation is, I trust that I am on the right path. Please do. Please trust that you are on the right path. I believe everything that happens in our lives, especially the hard things, the challenges, they are not happening to us. They are happening for us, so that we heal ourselves, so we evolve as soul and human beings, so that we remember little by little who we are. And the path that you are right now is a path that is right for you, for your soul. You are where you're supposed to be, but that is not the end. This is just a journey on your path, and you will fulfill all your heart's desires. You will transform that pain into power. You will overcome all your challenges. Please trust. Please trust. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for listening to the Soulcery Podcast and for holding space for this conversation. It is truly magical to be able to walk with you on this journey of soul healing and inner transformation. If you resonated with this episode and found it valuable, I would be grateful if you could leave a review on iTunes. Your feedback helps me reach more souls searching for guidance and healing. For more guidance and soul wisdom to support soul awakening women through the journey of alchemy, please visit my website www.ligiacosta.co.uk. Love and healing to all. See you on the next one.